Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show. We are welcoming Paul. What's your last name, Paul?
Romhany.
Romhany. Now, how do you spell that?
Romhany. I'm half New Zealander by my mother and half Hungarian by a friend of my father. So, no.
A Kiwi-European kind of
Something like that,
odd combination. That's excellent.
Well, actually, not really. In '58, when the Hungarians, they either came to Canada or they went to Australia or New Zealand after the uprising. A lot of them, Canada, actually, BC in particular, took a lot of Hungarians. They took the entire university, the forest industry from Budapest, and brought them here. That's why a lot of the senior people in BC Forest are Hungarians.
No kidding.
There's your history for the day.
I did not know this. Paul is the owner and the editor of a magazine called Vanish, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And it is a professional, it's a magazine for professional magicians, right?
Amateur magicians, hobbyists, kids who love magic, and professional magicians. I just get try and get every person that loves magic in general into the magazine. And so it's for anyone that has an enjoyment about magic.
And how long have you been owning the magazine?
I started the magazine 4 years ago. And we're up to, I think now, we have on average 100,000 downloads.
100,000 downloads, what, per month?
Per month. It's a bi-monthly, so every 2 months the magazine comes out. Mm-hmm. And so we had the highest hit rate we had was 145,000 downloads. People don't, magic is something that is so worldwide. Everyone loves magic. It's a big industry. It's a huge industry. And you've only got to go onto YouTube and look at, there's a local magician here in Vancouver, Wes Barker, who has over 12 million hits on one of his magic videos. So people like magic.
Wow. And you told me it was a huge industry. I didn't realize how big
magic in general. You see it's especially today, it goes in waves. But today you look at what was on television this last week with America's Got Talent and Penn and Teller, and it's all on the air. It's a really big industry. Because, it starts when people are kids. I started when I was about 8 years old. Most young people have an interest when they see a magician when they're about 8 years old, and it either sticks with them and carries on, or, grandparents or granddads like to show their grandkids magic. So everyone has a sort of inkling about magic, and I think there's a fascination in all of us. And on YouTube, you got it on YouTube. I mean, there's so many. It's just changed the industry so much. Social media has really changed the industry, and hence the magazine Vanish, because I could see the trade magazines which were printed, the numbers were dwindling, and you only got to look at newspaper subscriptions and other magazines well-known magazines going out of business. So I thought, I'll start a publication for magicians, and it's interactive. So, we talked about this. You can be reading it on your iPhone on the way to work on a bus or on a SkyTrain. And you don't have to sit there with a magazine, So 4 years ago, and it's doing incredibly well.
And you'd say that you've traveled around the world doing your gig.
Yeah, my wife and I, we've been lucky. We've been to 124 countries. And, you name it, I think we've been there. And stories, I've written books on our travels.
Tuk Toyaka Tuk?
I haven't,
Tuk?
Tuk.
You've been there?
Yeah, no, we've been to, I tell you the most amazing place we've been to was, Burma, which is now Myanmar. And it only just opened to the public and ready to let people in. And it was just the most incredible experience. It was just surreal. It was like going back in time almost.
Really?
So we've had some incredible, going to China. I do an act as Charlie Chaplin. That's my main gig as Charlie Chaplin. I do a magic show as Charlie Chaplin. So it was funny going to a gig in China, and this whole 5-star hotel was all themed out as Charlie Chaplin. And I'm going,
and you were the star.
I was the star. And then they did my show. It was like $250 a ticket to get into this event. It was a Christmas Eve event, dinner and a show. I didn't realize I was the show. Glad I wasn't dinner. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And there were people there paying it. And the thing is people say to me, well, Charlie Chaplin, people don't know who he is, but people still know who he is. I can so these were wealthy business people who were celebrating Christmas in China, which isn't a big thing, But for these people it was. So it wasn't until I went to do my show and I walked through the audience that they were grabbing me and pulling me, and it was very odd. And it wasn't until after everything was over that somebody came up and said to me, Mr. Chaplin, Mr. Chaplin, who do you pass the mantle on to when you pass away? And that's when it clicked. They actually thought that I had been given the Chaplin cane or the Chaplin mantle, and it had been handed down. And I didn't want to disappoint the guy, and I said, it's a very long process,
It's magical.
So we have incredible experiences. I remember being in Dubai and getting out of the taxi and the guy that opened the door, the valet, bowing and Mr. Chaplin, it's an honour to meet you. I love your movies. I'm thinking the guy's been dead for 20 years.
Holy smokes.
But they were still playing the Chaplin movies on the Air Emirates over there. They had a whole channel devoted to Charlie Chaplin movies. So he's big. I mean,
you picked the right character.
So I did. I was about 18, so it's a long time ago now. And when I started performing as Chaplin when I was about 8 years old. I saw the movie. What was it? The Circus. I thought, oh man, that's what I want to do. I want to be that funny guy, Charlie Chaplin. So I always tell people I wasted the first 8 years of my life. And then magic. Everything happened at 8. I have a background in music. I have did a degree in music and so on. And so everything happened about age 8. Just as a kid, I was fascinated with entertainment, I guess.
And then took it from there.
And it was a hobby all my life. And then when I finished my teaching diploma, I was doing more magic in the classroom for the kids than teaching. Kids loved it. But also on the weekends I was doing more magic. So I just thought, I'm going to do magic full time. And 25 years now, I think, full time.
No kidding.
That's all I've ever done for a living.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm not kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
That's magical.
No, that's true. And so that's all I've ever done. And it's been the business as an entertainer always has its ups and downs. It's not an easy life to choose, and along the way, especially more recently, I started looking ahead and seeing where I wanted to be in so many years' time. And so that's when the magazine came about, because we have a 3.5-year-old son. I didn't want to be away from home. So I started looking into doing things from going back to my roots of being a teacher, things that I really enjoyed. So now I'm lecturing to magicians. I'm going around the world to teach magicians how to do magic. I invent magic. I write books. And thanks a lot to without the internet, I wouldn't.
Oh yeah.
I would not be able to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's all.
You're a phenomenal content creator, right?
And you're a cottage industry in your own home, like this. It's those days. 20 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, wouldn't even have thought of doing this.
You couldn't have.
You couldn't have.
The infrastructure wasn't built.
So it's amazing how much. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future as well.
It's an exciting time we live in,
Absolutely.
I mean, you and I could travel the world and do this gig, do our respective gigs, and it doesn't matter. Well, we're not tied down to location.
That's what I said. My wife and I, we move it quite a bit for some reason, but we just like travelling. And I could live anywhere. I could live in Timbuktu or Tuk, wherever you said.
Tuk, yeah.
Where is that?
That is way, way up north, like way up north. You never want to visit it, trust me.
I have been way up north. I think we've been to everywhere in Canada, but
it's desolate. Yeah, there's nothing in.
I think that's where my next gig is. I got a terrible agent, but we can. But with what we do, you're mobile.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. And also coming from New Zealand, when I was growing up, New Zealand was such a long way away from the rest of the world. But with the internet today, everything just seems so close, and I feel that as a New Zealander, because really we were isolated. But the internet. The minute we started getting internet and everything, the world just seems so close now, So it's exciting times. And the magazine started because of all this. I saw a niche market, and people love the interactiveness of it all. They can watch a video, they can, like you, we do a few video things within the magazine.
I've seen it's very good quality magazine.
Thank you. So
very good quality.
And it's all self-taught. I just enjoy doing it all. At the end of the day, I would not do anything that I didn't enjoy. It's like it's not. It is work, but it's not work. It's something.
It's a labor of love, right?
It is a labor of love, absolutely. But it's a way also for me to give back to people too. Mm-hmm. So, and the magazine makes enough money to plod along, and I do it through advertising. The concept came through, those what were they? You still see them in coffee shops. Those, I don't know what they're called, little newspaper things.
Oh, the Coffee News?
Coffee News.
I love that. It's a great publication.
Right. And that's where my idea came from, because they're only making money, they're making the money from the advertising, right?
They're doing the same thing. I mean, I see them and I say, they're a franchise opportunity, that one-page magazine, one-page flyer, and it's brilliant.
So with the Magic magazine, people are going, you had to charge for it, because look at the quality of it. I'm going, well, no, I charge for the advertising. So as time went on, over a period of 4 years, we obviously started to build up the magazine and build up the number of issues. So what I've done at the end of each year, I put them into a back issue. So now I charge for the back issues. So the current issues are always free, because what I figured was that tomorrow a kid might come along and be fascinated with magic, go online and type in, he wants to look up a magic magazine, for example. Mine pops up, oh, it's on the internet, I can download it. For $1.99 he can download one issue, or for $9.99 he can download a back issue of a whole year. And then he can learn magic tricks, or she can learn magic tricks. They can read all about from professional magicians. I have the best people in the world, people you see on television writing for the magazine, and I'm able to interview them and all sorts of things. So it's just changed so much, and it's right there. People are.
It's immediate.
It's immediate, and it's what people want.
Yeah, it's convenient and it's mobile.
Yeah, and the way we learn things too, I think downloads are becoming really big. I used to produce DVDs because, we were talking about, magic is a big industry. DVDs are just going to be gone like magazines, because now you can download it. So for whatever, $1.99, you can download an instructional DVD. You can do it with anything, how to play guitar, how to play, instead of a DVD.
Sure.
And then you can save it onto your computer. You can watch it on the bus, on your iPhone, or whatever you want. So I think that's how the industry is changing. And you and I both see it, and we know what's happening within the industry. And I think some people don't see it. They're scared, or they're so not old school, but
they're entrenched in the old tradition,
and they don't want to make that. Well, they don't know how to. Maybe they don't. Not that they don't want to do it. They don't know how to do it.
No, some of them don't want to do it.
They refuse to do it.
Yeah. I know a guy that says, my magazine will stand on its own in printed edition. Well, talk to me in a year.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I said. Plus, and not only that, but we have the subscription rate. Now, our advertisers love it, because they come to us, or come to Vanish, because there's no other magic magazine in the world that has the numbers we do.
There you go.
And not only that, but I'm finding now some of the biggest names that you see on television, we're working on great stories with them. And they go, what's your distribution? When I tell them it's over 100,000, they go, well, we'll go with you.
Wow.
Because why would you go with a 5,000?
Yeah. Yeah.
That when
you're not getting enough mileage.
And then I've got 36 countries, because I can keep track. This is the other thing about the internet. As an editor or a person that runs a magazine, I can track every person that downloads it. I can do graphs of what country they're from.
Demographics, age,
everything.
income,
So, and obviously you use that to your advantage. But when you're selling it to advertisers, this is stuff that they want to know.
This is the stuff that radio stations and TV stations collect to entice advertisements, right?
Absolutely. And now today, all I do is I press a button and I get all the information I want. It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
Once you set it all up.
Yeah.
And
those numbers can't lie.
No,
they know that they can't be doctored.
Hits. No, they're downloads. You can tell. So so I'm a big champion of technology and so on. People the other thing about the internet too, especially I think with Facebook and social media, is there are no rules.
That's right. It's the Wild Wild West.
It is the Wild Wild West, and there are no rules. And there will be rules eventually. The downside of it is there's no etiquette either in place, and because it's so young, there's no rules. I mean, I don't know what to teach my son. I do know what to teach him, but I don't know what rules to pass on to him. He's only 3.5. He's not allowed on the internet. But I don't have rules. So how can you pass it on?
Good point.
How can I? So that's how young it is. That's how new the internet is, and especially Facebook and social media. Facebook, I think, is the biggest waste of time in the world, but I think it's the greatest thing, because I think if I get onto Facebook, I actually may get on once a day, limit myself. When it first started, you get trapped into it.
There goes 3 hours.
Well, it's a waste of time. I mean, if you're self-employed and you're working from home, you shouldn't be. Those 3 hours could be.
You got to get off the Facebook.
Well, and people, I'm amazed at how many people are on it, and I'm thinking, well, what are they doing with their days? Especially when I see other magicians on it, and they're on there doing different things. I'm thinking that time would be better spent. So again, it's rules, and it's so new that we don't quite know how to use it yet properly, and I think it can be addictive. So it has its pros and cons. Mostly pros from what I see.
But the savvy marketers are going to take that. They're going to know that millions of people hang out on Facebook, and they're going to market to them.
Well, and here's
there anyway.
and the only reason I tell you, the Vanish Magazine started. People were saying to me, "Oh, you might get 100 people read it or whatever. Within the first 6 months, we were up to, I think it was 60,000, or maybe not that much, maybe 40,000. I couldn't believe the numbers. And it was all because of social media. I went onto social media, people were forwarding it on, passing it on, went viral. And then I thought, I don't know, I really don't know. This is the only thing I need to find out is if these Facebook ads that I sometimes pay for work. I'm kind of dubious about them. You know, you can pay $20 a Facebook ad and it says it's going to get it out to 15,000 people. And then they try and get you by saying, you know, for $50 you can get out to 600,000.
Yeah.
And so you try it, and I don't know, if you should see results because you can see the numbers come in. I don't see results. So I'm kind of dubious about the Facebook paid adverts. But certainly, you know, Facebook and social media is the way to promote these sort of things.
Oh, sure.
Even your local thing. My wife goes on to a local, we live in Langley, and she goes on to Langley, there's a Langley thing, and she finds all sorts of things about Langley that we didn't know about. You know, events that are happening.
Yep.
Langley Mothers or something it's called. It's a great thing she goes on to. And so she's able to find out. And now, here's a great example. Weller's Blueberry Farm. They're a blueberry farm out in Langley. The great guy, I think he's 92 or something. And his name is Weller, and he has this blueberry farm. It's huge. My wife and I wanted to take our son blueberry picking. So we turn up. She Googles it, and there's this really bad website, so we find out where it is. It's in Fort Langley. So we go out. He's $1 a pound. Pick your own.
That's good.
So my wife
like crazy good.
And the guy said, he's a brilliant guy, 90-something. And he says, I can't get pickers, and my sons and grandsons really aren't interested in the business. So he said, they're just all going to fall on the ground and what have you. So my wife goes on to Langley Mothers. Once we pick these, a big thing, 10 pounds of blueberries for $10. So the day we go home with a photograph, she puts it onto that Langley thing. Well, as of today, he was on television. They got news signs. My wife went back today. This is only a few weeks ago. She went back today, and I forget how many acres of blueberry bushes he's got. Almost all gone.
What?
All because of social media. It went viral, and then everybody knew about it. The TV got hold of it.
Really?
And they did a story on him because it's a great story about him. But that just shows you the power of the internet. So my wife went on and she said, any mothers with kids that wanted to have some fun, go blueberry picking at Weller's. And of course all the mothers go on, and then it starts to go like this and it grows.
Community.
Yeah.
And one community talks to the other community.
And it's incredible. And she went back yesterday morning, she said they're almost all gone. And she was really happy.
I mean, that is one happy 92-year-old man.
Oh, he's ecstatic because he said last year he lost money because, of course, you know, he couldn't get pickers and things. And now it just went...
So guess what he's going to do next year?
Yeah, I know.
A lot of social media.
Yeah. Well, it only took a couple of posts from various people on certain Facebook groups for people to realise, wow. And this guy's been around for 40 years.
I mean, my goodness. I know business owners that say, you know what? I'm not interested in email marketing, collecting email. Are you kidding me? Like, you obviously collect emails, right?
I have, I use... MailChimp. So I think we have an 18,000 mail send out or something.
Oh, MailChimp now, I'm pretty sure it's MailChimp will include video too. A video.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I must try that.
Phenomenal. Like a little video there, right there,
oh,
like
great.
not on YouTube. It's beautiful.
No, within the actual email.
That's what it's
Because
saying.
you collect, and on the website I have people sign up to the newsletter, and it only goes out twice a month.
Once every 2 months. So 6 times a year, right?
Yeah, 6 times a year. But the newsletter, which it's not a newsletter, it's just an announcement saying you can now download the next issue. Mm-hmm. And if there's any products, I throw in there too. So that's just a little email they get, and that's what I use MailChimp for. But it collects data as well for me, you see. So I've got this huge amount of subscribers and things, emails and what have you. The best story I heard was somebody went to a seminar, and I think it might have been in Vancouver, and this really shows you the power of the internet. It was a speaker, and they said, how many people, it was a room of maybe, 500 people. How many people, raise your hand if you advertise in the Yellow Pages. I'd say 80% of people put their hands up. Maybe even more. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
80% Yellow Pages.
Yeah, 80%. And he said, how many people of you out there use the Yellow Pages? Not one person put their hand up.
There you go. Because I'm thinking... Yellow Page, I use it to stand on.
I know, and everyone, and it was like a light bulb went off, and you could hear. He said you could hear this. And we go, oh my God!
Oh, I love that.
I love that story because that just shows you.
You could be paying something for it's worthless.
Nobody uses it. Yeah, I didn't think there is a Langley Yellow Pages. There might be. It's probably that thick. Mm-hmm. You just go online and Google. So I thought that was a great story, and it always stuck with me. And that was here in Vancouver. They went to.
If it's not proven technology, leave it alone. If it doesn't have a tracker, if nobody's using it, leave it alone.
I was talking to somebody who is a printer, His wife's a printer, and he said part of the wife's business used to be printing those booklets that would have coupons and things in. So you'd pay $20 and get like 100 coupons. You know, and
those books that you can buy, those big thick ones?
for charity
like
and things. Yeah. And their business took a big dive once Groupon and those sort of businesses came online, because people are no longer buying those books. They're just going to Groupon or Social Shopper.
Sure.
You know, so the internet is changing, and I think you've got to kind of, sometimes it's good to jump on the bandwagon, you know.
You always have to be thinking, you have to be watching the trends.
Absolutely.
And finding out, you know, what's hottest and what's working.
Let me tell you what I did with Vanish. I started Vanish as a downloadable PDF.
Right.
An interactive PDF, and I use InDesign to do it, Adobe InDesign, because it allows you to do, you know, to do an interactive. You can embed video if you want. You can do links, everything. The advertisers are all click a button and it takes them to their website. They love it. You can't do that with a normal magazine.
You cannot.
So my goal was, I looked at what some of the other magazines were doing, and some of them were on Apple iStore and things, you know.
Oh, yes.
The problem was, with Apple, they were charging a lot of money, plus they weren't allowing you to have access to any of your subscribers.
What?
Yeah, Apple don't let you have access to the subscribers, so you have no idea who is downloading your magazine.
I don't like that.
Well, that's right. So I thought, I'm going to wait. So rather than jump on the bandwagon, I waited. I waited about 2 years. And then other platforms came on, some really amazing platforms that allowed you to, would hook you up through Apple. So I'm now on Apple iStore, I guess it is.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. But it's done in a way that it's independent, although though it's on Apple.
Interesting.
It's
You've figured it out.
Well,
you've got a workaround.
Yeah, you've got to work around it, and which I did, and I found companies that will allow you to do this, and that's what I do with Vanish. Now it's on PressPad and it's on Magster.com.
Oh, PressPad's big.
Yeah, PressPad. I have it on there,
Magster.
and Magster.com. And these are the two platforms that want to take over the world as far as people reading magazines online.
What about Issue? You ever heard of Issue?
Yeah, I have. You know, I don't want to give my... so I have those too. I'm like... And it's easy for me to...
Hold back your opinion.
Well, no, it's easy. No, it's easy for me to do. It's just a matter of uploading my PDF, my interactive PDF. Yeah. But I don't want to... I could do... You know, I mean, I really could do it. It makes no difference because... I'm
just probing you to find out, you know, which ones you've had experience with.
Yeah, Magster definitely, and PressPad. I like both. And Magster at the moment is the best one because it allows me much more. I can now gift magazines. You can't do that with PressPad, or you couldn't.
Is it expensive, Magster?
No. They take a percentage of your sales.
That's it?
That's it.
Magster.
Yeah. Magter.com. Yeah, it's great. And now, so I think we have every issue on there now. Catalogued, and it's great.
Really?
Yeah, brilliant. And you know, and it's a nice store, and it's also on Androids as well, so people can get it for Androids and for Apple. And so that's the way I went. And now I also have it as a live magazine online. So if people want to read it as a live magazine, they go to the website and they press a button, and now it just comes up live.
Yep.
And so it's like a book because it actually pages turn.
Yes.
You know, I love that. So I just like the sound of the pages turning. I just get.
Me too.
You know, there's 6 different ways people can read the magazine.
So go over those 6.
The first is an interactive PDF.
Yep.
PressPad, Magster, Live Magazine. What are we up to?
4.
I know there's 2 more. I think what they are. I've got too many.
You'll think of them.
I'll think of them. There are 2 more.
It'll come to you.
Sorry, Revisit. Now, Revisit is the, as far as I'm concerned, is the only that you can protect your material in the world on the internet.
Revisit? Okay, you got to tell me more about
that.
this.
Yeah, revisit.com. If you're a musician, if you're a film person, if you direct movies or you want to sell movies or you're an author, anything you self-publish, you can put it through Revisit, and it's impossible for people to be able to take it off the internet. Revisit.com. I have all my magazines on there. I have all my products on there, my books I've written, and all my DVDs, everything's on there. It doesn't put it into the memory of the computer. The other thing it does, which is really nice, is you can turn the product on or off. So if you have an iPad, for example, you know, if you have, say, 20 magazines with video inside, that takes up a lot of memory of your iPad.
Oh, yes.
So with Revisit, you can just turn it off, so it's not actually stored within your computer. But as long as you have internet access, you can press it again and it comes online. The only thing it doesn't stop somebody doing is taking a video camera and filming the computer screen.
Yeah.
And I think if a person's going to go to that level, just give it to them. I mean, what are you going to do?
There's going to be piracy.
You know, I mean, that's it. At the end of the day, you're never going to... It's like somebody sitting in a movie, filming a movie. You're never going to stop that.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is... But actually, technology-wise, as far as it's the only way, and I've done a lot of research in this, in the world that you can protect your... So you can do music, you can do videos.
That's really important to know.
Yeah.
Self-published authors.
Yep. Authors, there's books. There's lots of books on there. It was started by a friend of mine in LA, actually, and I was one of the first people to jump on board with it. And so I've got everything on there.
And you're a self-published author yourself. You have, 24 books?
Well, I think it's over 40 books now.
40 books?
Yeah. I'm published through Penguin as well, in New Zealand and Canada, and I think Team and Speed in the States. But self-published 40 books. And that's changed as well for authors. What a great... CreateSpace.com or Lulu is a good one. Because, there were days when you would write a book and you'd have to spend 10,000 to get 500 printed. And then they're sitting in your garage, mine were collecting mould. Couldn't give them away. But these days they're print on demand. And the other thing now, of course, is the websites are so easy to design. You can set up a business. And I've lost the name of it now. There's one I use, Shopify.com.
Oh, that's a big one.
And I use that. And I think you pay, is it per purchase? Like a percentage, or I forget if it's a weekly, monthly fee, I forget now. I think it's per purchase. So the more you sell, the more you pay. It's not much, but you're making money by selling your product. So on Shopify.com, you can have all your books. Also, I have all my books and all my magic products, and it's PaulRomhanyMagic.com. That's my Shopify page, and people go on, they click it. I get an instant email, and I just order it. I send. There's no product sitting at my house anymore. I could be sitting going camping with my wife and I hear ping on my phone. I go, oh, there's an order. I just go there and press a button and it sends. I go to the distributor and they send it to the person.
How cool is that?
I just put the money in my PayPal.
Handled.
And it's like, you could be anywhere. And that's why, my wife and I like to travel and we can be anywhere and I can still run my business. So that's what I mean. The internet has really enabled us to do stuff that you couldn't do, just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm excited. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen next week?
Because even the expert scientists that delve into the Internet of Things, advertising, online stuff, they can't keep up. It has spiraled so far and so fast, none of them can keep up.
I read somewhere where it's so far advanced that they can't even let us know about it because we wouldn't be able to understand it. We couldn't understand.
Couldn't absorb it.
And I really believe that's the case.
Because some of the stuff that
I'm sure you're a hologram, I mean, where's that light coming from?
Exactly. So tell me, how do you engage your customers and convince them to advertise in your magazine?
The first thing there's the numbers. Sorry, not the numbers. The first thing is the quality of the magazine. The layout, the look of the magazine. From the cover,
and it's beautiful.
Thank you. I do everything. Wow. I do everything and this has always been a hobby. It was never just self-taught Photoshop and InDesign.
That's crazy.
Misspent youth, I guess. Well, I guess it's partly coming from New Zealand. They always used to call New Zealanders mavericks, like the TV show Maverick, because he would have something that be able to make something out of nothing.
Right.
And so we were sort of forced in New Zealand, because we were so far away, to be able to be a jack of all trades. And so that's what I grew up doing with I just took an interest in a lot of different things, and now it's paying off after all these years. But so the first thing is the quality of the magazine, and then the second thing is the contributors. I have some of the best people in the world, magicians, contributing to the magazine.
And how did you get them to come on board?
I just asked them.
Really? I mean,
here's my motto for life. I had this. I used to use this. When I was I learned this years ago. I used to go to these self-promotion seminars and things when I was growing up because I wanted to build my business and things back in New Zealand. And I'll never forget, somebody said to me once, be careful what you ask for because you might get it. So I thought, wow, that's interesting. And I used to phone up the television stations, I used to phone up newspapers, and I was always amazed that I would say, look, I think I might have a story for you. They'd always go, yes. I'd go, next thing you know, I'm on television or I'm in a newspaper. Be careful what you ask for because you might just get it. And so that's always been my motto. So I thought, and plus these people are friends of mine. I've been in the industry a very long time. And so I would ask them, and they're happy to help, happy to write articles and do series and contribute. So that's the second thing is you have to have the quality of the magazine. Well, that's the most important thing is quality. And the other thing is when we started out, I would just have a very small amount of advertisers, mostly friends. I'd say, look, so it looks good, But now, of course, that's all changed because the numbers, the quality of the magazine, we've been going for 4 years now. We're into our 4th year, so.
And you have international customers all over the world
All over
that
the world.
advertise.
Yeah.
So a magazine.
I just got into Taiwan. The next issue from Taiwan. We got a Taiwanese, very large. We got a very famous, one of the number one magicians in the world is from Taiwan. He's 100 million views on his. I think the day after he did a show in China, 80 million hits on his. And you know that when you get YouTube, you get paid for every 2,000 or 1,000. No, 1 million hits. You get paid. So 100 million hits.
He's making some pretty.
Well,
coin.
whoever put it up, I don't know, but so now it's really expanding internationally. I mean, if I get into Asia, then that just takes it to a different level altogether.
And then you'll just travel to these places, and you can teach. You can, you just have the life of Riley. You just have the dream job that everybody else wants.
I guess I do.
You're doing what you love, and you're traveling.
Yeah,
the world.
I do. I don't even think about it as being this is me. It's just what I want to do. I don't worry about other people, but but
you have the freedom to do what you
I do,
love.
yeah. And we have a 3.5-year-old, so we are like, I was traveling a lot on performing. I was a cruise ship magician. Well, I still work on the ships, but I was doing corporate shows and things, traveling around the world. And when our son was born, I thought, well, I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be a father that's never home. So I started developing all these other things and thinking about, well, how can I make a home-based business with what I love, which is magic and entertainment. And that's what I've done. And I still perform, but I can be more choosier now about where I go.
Nice position to be in.
It's a great position to be in. I mean, I remember the days as an entertainer. You'd wonder where your next gig was coming from, your next meal. So at least this way it gives us some stability.
Oh yeah.
And as I said, it's because of the internet, and it's been a long road to get there, and a lot of learning. And I do most of my work on the internet at night when my wife and my son are asleep, so I can spend all day with them. But that's okay.
Good thinking.
I get up early in the morning, 6 in the morning sometimes, to do the magazine for an hour or two. If I spend 2 or 3 hours a day on it, that's good.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.